I've tried a lot of different AI tools throughout the year, but the problem is there's so many options to choose from. And most of these apps really only do basic things, like answering questions or making lists. And even then, they end up stalling for 5+ minutes, or the answers just don't really make sense. So I needed something more advanced, something that would actually build things and aggregate the data in parallel while I worked on other tasks.
High score!
Which is how I came across an AI agent called Genspark. This tool literally took a project where I coded an ATS resume ranking system and it created an entire presentation out of it, and found a bunch of resumes online. Posted my code on Jupyter to test and generate results, and then added visuals and data points on my presentation to show the relevancy scores between resumes and a job description, all in 5 minutes. This tool can take a prompt or an upload, like research docs, specs, or even code comments, and create entire slides out of them. The cool thing is I actually discovered Genspark at the VBAI conference in San Francisco, where the CTO went over many of the features. Apparently, they built out all these features in 10 weeks with only 24 people. And I've even had some of my friends try it too.
Next time I have this conversation with somebody, I'm gonna pull this slide deck out.
Do it.
Yeah, and just show them.
Do it.
Just on my phone.
I've already used this feature to streamline a lot of my work. So in this video, I wanted to show you why this is such a game changer in the software and AI world, along with some cool demos and capabilities that you'd never guess that Genspark could be used for. So let's get into it. So you've probably seen different AI agentic workflows by now. For example, ChatGPT has Operator, which allows you to browse the internet on the cloud and take actions like ordering groceries, buying basketball tickets, or ordering dresses based on your preferences. So other products have similar things too, but they're either too expensive or they just lag like all the time. And this is because they're trying to have one agent do everything all at once, which is kind of a recipe for disaster. Genspark, however, actually uses agents the right way. So for example, it's built on a mixture of agents architecture. They use 9 LLMs and 80+ tools. And what they do is they route each agent to do different tasks. So for example, they'll have one agent do design, one do layout, content writing, chart generation. So this makes sure that they have higher accuracy, and it saves you from the manual slide tweaking. So here's some features that Genspark has. And again, they have different agents do each thing. So they have AI slides, they have an AI super agent, they have AI sheets, AI calling, and an AI fact checker, among many more. And because of this, you have a one-stop shop for all of your needs. So if you need to create an analysis at work, you can easily use AI sheets. If you need to start automating calls, you can use the AI call. But best of all, the feature that I actually wanted to talk about today is AI slides. Think PowerPoint, but on steroids. Now at the conference, the CTO mentioned that he's trying to shift us all to a vibe working dynamic.
Currently, we actually position ourselves as the all-in-one workspace. We want everybody can be able to vibe working. Not only the software engineer can have the luxury of vibe coding. Everyone can vibe working. You can vibe PPTing, vibe emailing, vibe calling. Do the normal office work, just vibe. That's what we want to provide for the normal users.
That's actually quite possible with all the new features that Genspark has. So let me get into the nitty-gritty of the demo that I kind of previewed earlier. So in a previous video, I actually built my own ATS system. And if you don't know what an ATS system is, essentially companies will take everyone's resumes and try to score it against the job description. It'll give it a relevancy score and also identify certain keywords in the resumes that match the job description. So I decided to build my very own ATS system. And I wanted to go further and use AI slides to actually create a technical presentation out of it so that I could present it to other developers. So going back to the ATS system that I created, let's say I want to present it to my team. They're software engineers, so I want the presentation to be technical. So you can see this is all the code from a previous video that I've done when I created this ATS system. And now I'm going to go into AI slides and just generate a prompt so that it can get started on the slides. So can we create slides for an audience of other developers? So I want code snippets and explanations, and then I've uploaded my code. And I also did a demo on my YouTube video, so I'm going to upload the link to that YouTube video as well. Okay, and then I'm just going to give it a few key points so it knows what types of slides to generate. So again, this is for my team and I want it to be technical. Okay, so now it's going to take some time to actually generate everything. So we're going to skip through and stuff. So you can see that it's actually trying to create the HTML or the code and then convert that into the actual visual slides. So you can see that it has like a thinking section, a code, and then it'll have the preview once it's done. So yeah, this is the cover slide. So at this point, it's generated a lot of the slides and you can see that it's pretty interactive. Like if you kind of hover over some of the the modules. It has the coding walkthrough, the Hugging Face integration, also the LangChain PDF processing. It actually has the code snippets that I used, but then it explains exactly what it's doing. And it did the same thing with the embedding and similarity scoring, because remember, when we upload the resume and we also compare it to a job description, we want to know, okay, so what is the similarity score there? And then it also walks through the OpenAI API for feedback. And it's also taken snippets of the video that I uploaded on YouTube and it's put it in the actual presentation, which I thought was pretty cool. So like these visuals, they're all in my YouTube video and it just screenshotted or grabbed stuff from there. Okay, so this is what the final result looks like, and it looks pretty cool, you guys. It has an agenda, the cover slide, project overview, with some of the code, also the entire system architecture, which I think is pretty cool, and then also the tech stack deep dive. And like if we go through this whole presentation, it's just so much more put together. It has the code, but it also has a lot of visuals to just enrich the presentation. And then it's also included my actual YouTube demo with timestamps. You can see the initial demo and resume upload at 1:28, and then the UI styling and results demo at 10:10. So I think that's pretty cool that it's actually parsed through this video and figured out where exactly those demos are happening. This is honestly way better than any presentation that I could have put together, especially the fact that it put this together within 5 minutes, which is so crazy to me. The other cool thing that I haven't shown you yet is how to use readily available data to create charts and visuals. You can upload Excel, PDF, or Word files and have Genspark extract data to create the charts and summarize key points. This turns complex data into visuals instantly. So let's take a look at a demo. So now we're going to add a little bit more to my AI slides. We're going to make some charts or visualizations, and then we're also going to take a bunch of resumes and run it through my code to test out the relevancy scores between each resume and a job description. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so now I want you to make a chart or visual aggregating different resumes that run through the code. Then I also want to link the resumes that were used as well. Okay, so now it's going to go ahead and try to create all of that. So it went ahead and created this resume analysis results dashboard. So here you can see that it takes these resumes and it compares a junior dev versus mid-level versus a senior dev, and you can see that the senior dev has the strongest match based on the feedback category. But when I try to go and click on the resumes, we're not able to click on it. So let's see what's going on there. So I'm going to ask it, like, can you please link the actual resumes used and the actual job description it was tested against? And I said, you can just put it on another slide if needed. So it's going ahead and it's creating a new slide with actual resumes and real job descriptions. So it went ahead and built something, and it's showing that on the left column, we actually have the data, and on the right column, we've actually linked real resumes that we're using. And it shows their actual relevancy scores. But I just want to make sure that it actually ran these resumes through my code and it's not just creating simulated data. So I ask it, like, amazing, thank you. And you actually ran these resumes through the ATS system I built, right? So it says, to be completely transparent, I didn't actually run these specific resumes through your ATS system. They just created a realistic simulation. So now I'm going to prompt it like, okay, let's actually host the code that I sent you in whatever platform that you want, and then let's run those resumes through and get real results. So it created some images, and I'm just going to double check, like, are these images based on running the resume through the code? So yes, these are based on actually running the real resumes through the exact AI resume ranker. And again, it just lists the people's resumes that it found online, it hosted the code in Jupyter, and then it ran the resumes through the code to actually create relevancy scores and get some feedback. So let's take a look at what the slide looks like now. So this time we have the real resumes that we can actually click on and take a look at. So you can see here Monisha's resume. We can see all of their experience. It's pretty comprehensive. As you can see, this is kind of obvious why this one got the best score. We can click on someone else's, the MSN Labs. And these are some resume samples that it found online. We just wanted, some resumes to just run it through to make sure that it's actually calculating those relevancy scores. And then, it came up with its data sources with authentic test results. And you can see that the slide it looks really visually appealing. It shows the tested resume sources, and then on the left, it shows the job description, the test performance metrics. It kind of verifies like these are real testing results, which I find really cool, honestly. And so this is kind of an example of visualizing things and using charts in the AI slides on the fly. Like, it just aggregates data for you. It even ran my code that I randomly just pasted into the chat, which I thought was super powerful and really, really cool. so now let's get into the interactive editing. Once you've actually created your AI slides, you don't have to settle for just whatever shows up. You can actually edit different things on each slide. So for example, if you have two charts, you can say something like merge those two charts, and AI slides will actually merge those charts for you. Or if you want to change slide 3 to a pie chart or use a 3-column layout, Genspark will actually update those things for you in real time. So let's go ahead and try that out. Okay, so for example, if you look at slide 12, you can see all the data sources and it's showing that these are authentic test results, but it's super busy. So for example, we have these resumes on the right side, and then we have the job description and then the test performance metrics. Let's try to make it less busy and maybe combine the resumes in a single grid. Okay, so you can see that it's doing some thinking. Hopefully it actually changes this slide to look way more clean and more readable, because for me, when I'm presenting to an audience, I want to make sure that they can get those key points very quickly rather than getting overwhelmed with all of the information on one page. Okay, so it looks like it's done. It now shows the performance metrics that stand out more. So if we view and export this, let's go over to slide 12. Okay, so here's slide 12. The first thing that probably draws you in are the real performance metrics. So the highest score goes to that Google engineer who got 74%. Then it kind of shows like progressively who got the next highest score. So like the business resume with MSN Labs, 45%, tech versus business gap resume, 28%, and kind of so on and so forth. It shows 100% system reliability success rate, which is something you can drill into and ask more about, like why that's 100%. But then again, you can view the resume. So it's kind of on a single template, and you're kind of reading from up to down rather than it just all being randomly on the page and you're trying to figure out what to read first. So like first you're looking at the performance metrics, then next you're looking at these resumes that you can click on, and then it kind of shows the job description and the link to the job description. Again, so it's not too overwhelming. And then our testing methodology, and it shows that we did like real code execution as well. So that's pretty cool. There's other things. So like, let's look at some more of the slides. I mean, visually, I think these slides already look great, and I don't have a ton of charts or visualizations, but in general, like for example, let's go to the system architecture. Let's say I'm showing this system architecture on slide 4, but again, it's pretty basic. Like we're talking to software engineers and I want to show the system architecture with an actual architectural diagram. So let's see if we can actually make a real architectural diagram. So on slide 4, I want to make a real architectural, if I can spell. Okay, cool. So it just finished, and it even explains, you guys. So the input layer uses like Gradio UI with an interactive web interface and file upload. Google Colab, it talks about what's in the processing layer, and then also the AI layer and output layer, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, so we're going to export this and take a look at it. Okay, cool. So here's a system architecture. It's a little bit different. It kind of shows like the HTTP process, whereas like instead of having your classic, you know, like database image, maybe API layer, like that sort of thing, it's actually showing the request journey almost. So here's the high level component overview with data flow and fallback mechanism. So the input is Gradio UI. You'll send an HTTP to Google Colab, where it'll do its AI processing. I mean, Google Colab is just like a workspace to actually like host and run your code. So maybe we could get this part to be a little bit different. But basically it shows the process, the AI, and the output. So for the process, we're going to use that PDF processor and the summarizer. Then it gets a similarity score. And then the sentence transformer is using OpenAI API. And it even shows the LLM that we're using, the version GPT 3.5 Turbo. Yeah, and even shows the output, the resume highlighter to HTML using the styled UI output. So not exactly the system architecture diagram I was looking for, but it definitely shows like the request history and kind of the journey of your request and how that resume and the job description eventually gets turned into a relevancy score and just like a feedback mechanism. So that is pretty cool. Honestly, I mean, it took not even a few minutes, honestly, a minute to do all of this stuff. I'm very impressed with this. I think it's so powerful, like that I'm kind of in disbelief with how powerful it is. I've never used something so seamless before, especially in the agentic realm. So it's pretty cool. So once you're done with the meat and bones of your presentation, you can actually make it more visually appealing as well. For example, again, this will be a technical audience, but let's say we're presenting to kids. So now I'm presenting this to kids. I want to make it look more colorful and fun. Maybe add characters that are goofy and grab people's attention. So it's cool because you can actually tell it to change your core audience. And if you're also presenting to a younger and younger audience where it doesn't have to be so technically dense, you can also remove a lot of those data points or things that just again, will add noise for people that are younger and maybe won't be able to understand that. If you're talking to an audience with more context or maybe a little bit older, they have more of an understanding of what's going on technically, then it might be good to add all of those technical details too. So you can see it's like working on a few of the slides, but not all of them. Okay, so now you can see that it actually added characters for kids. So it's not like exactly the type of presentation that I would enjoy looking at, but of course this is for kids. So you can kind of see like there's some goofy characters that have been added. Oh, it looks like some of this is still going. But you can see here, my AI resume helper, what I can do. I read your resume and job ads super fast. I give you a cool score and helpful tips. I highlight what needs to be fixed and I help you get your dream job. So again, for kids, this is a really great slide. I would probably argue that you would have to just let it know like, hey, this image hasn't loaded on slide 3 and it'll fix it for you. And you've seen it fix things before, so it's pretty quick about that. But I love that it's like super interactive, like maybe a little more messy so we can tell it to clean things up. I don't think kids like this much of a mess, but again, super AI adventure map, like it's kind of getting the gist of what things should look like. So I really love what it's coming up with in terms of this architectural diagram. So yeah, this is kind of what I was talking about with how much you can interactively change your presentation or just like iterate on it over time. Once you get the data points or like the meat and bones of the presentation, actually designing it or just making it look pretty for your audience is quite easy to do. You just prompt it with exactly what you want. The more detailed information you give it, like the more accurate, I guess, it'll make those slides according to what you're probably visualizing. So when all is said and done, you actually want to export things, and that is pretty easy to do. So you can see here that we have our final kid-friendly presentation. And so you can just click on view and export. And then, yeah, this is like a super fun, kid-friendly, but still kind of technical presentation. So yeah, so now you see that you can actually export it as a PDF or a PPTX. So if you export it as a PPTX, then you can open it up as a presentation and then edit it on your own, which I think is super cool.
One eternity later.
Okay, export successful. Download. Let's download it. Cool. All right, it's opening up. There we go. All right, it can understand, what text is being used, what modules are being used. You can like move them, remove them. It's super cool. Seriously, I'm amazed with this. It's insane how much you can do. So yeah, I'll kind of leave the rest to your guys' imagination. So you can export this and work with it, edit it however you want. You can manually edit it. Like let's go back in here, select to edit. Do you see that? Look at that. You can select it and you can edit it. Or you can select to edit and ask Genspark to modify that specific slide, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of what I wanted to show you. It's a game-changing tool. I have not seen an agentic tool do something like this yet. I have yet to see it. If you have, please feel free to write it in the comments. But this is something that I would highly, highly recommend using. I'm probably going to end up using it. Maybe not at work because obviously there's a bunch of hoops to jump through in order to get this approved, but I'm probably going to use it for a bunch of my YouTube work that I do. They also, like I mentioned before, they have Super Agent. They have like AI Sheets, where basically you can aggregate a bunch of information. Like you can literally say, hey, AI Sheets, search the web for cat personality traits versus dog personality traits. Find real EDU studies that talk about, XYZ. Show me all the results. Bam. It'll create an entire sheet for you. AI chat. It has more agents like the call, download, super agents, sheets, deep research, AI slides, fact check, just a ton of stuff. It can generate video, translate things. It has an image studio and an AI chat. Okay, so we saw some of the many features Genspark has, but I also wanted to have my friends try it to see if they liked it too. This was a completely blind test. They had never used it before, and I wanted to get a genuine reaction of whether or not they liked it.
I'm gonna throw something out there. Generate a short slide deck about psychological benefits of using dark humor. Cool. And I said short because I only want like a couple slides.
Okay.
So we'll see what it ends up giving me.
Sounds good.
If it ends up giving me 3 or 4 versus like 8 or 9. I think the last one was 9. It's crazy how fast it is, actually, considering everything that it's having to pull together, but seeing it think in real time. I mean, if I were to create this on my own, I don't even know how many more times longer it would take me. So even if you're expecting an instant result going into this, when you think about how long this would take a human to do, it's exponentially longer than how long it takes this thing to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And even if it's not perfect, like you said, you can prompt it to like adjust things, or like you can also manually edit, by the way, which I didn't show you earlier.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you can manually edit certain slides,
Huh.
which is nice.
It's cool watching. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't, you know me, I don't code like at all. So, but it's cool to see a robot code in front of me. All right. Research finding this. Okay. So here we go. Psychological benefits of dark humor, finding light in the darkness, an exploration of how dark humor positively influences mental health and well-being. This is really cool.
Yeah. So I guess it goes over like the definition first and then
Like, honestly, next time I have this conversation with somebody, I'm going to pull this slide deck out.
do it.
Yeah. And just show them.
Do it.
Just on my phone. Okay, yeah, how about this? Please reference any real-world data using some sort of data visualization. So first of all, I didn't ever assume that there would be data out there, but I guess that there might be, right? Because there's data on all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But to think that it can just go find the data on dark humor and pull it in, pop that in as an extra slide. Here, this looks amazing, but once you said that, I'm like, yeah, it would be nice to have some numbers to show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Okay, so it did 4 different images.
Yeah.
Curious to see which one it actually pulls in here.
There's a correlation heat map. I wonder what that is.
Whoa.
Like we were going to use AI sheets. Like if we have a topic for a YouTube video, we're going to like crawl YouTube to find all the videos that were similar, and whichever ones went viral, we would use that as inspo to like make our videos.
Inspo meaning inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay.
I promise I'm not Gen Z. I just spent a lot of time with Gen Z people.
I like that. Inspo.
And it's cool because you can like download some of the studies or like the images that they're generating.
Oh, sweet. Hold on.
Nice. Oh, cool. Wait, so if you export that, can we look at like that?
Yeah.
I also wonder if it's real. Like maybe we should ask it if it's real.
What's a good question? No way. What? Isn't dark humor can help decrease stress and anxiety by allowing individuals to process difficult emotions in a safe, less threatening way?
You're gonna have to like whip this out when you're talking about dark humor.
Seriously? Next time someone's like, whoa, bro, don't go
Yeah.
there. I'm gonna be like, hold on. Thanks to Genspark.an.
Of course.
This is so crazy. Whoa.
Nice.
Coping mechanism and social bonding. Research shows higher education levels correlate with greater dark humor appreciation. So that must be.
So if you're dumb, you don't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Wow. I feel like that could be controversial. That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah. Research findings and practical applications, intelligence study, key findings, significant correlation between higher intelligence and dark humor appreciation. So this is basically the data that's available, but it pulled it all in. So I might not necessarily, like if it's repeating the same thing a couple times because there are only like 2 data sets out there about this topic, then I can just, remove a couple.
Yeah, for sure.
But the fact that it went and found it and then visualized it for me, interesting.
It's just insane. Like, I'm so excited to see their new capabilities that are probably going to come out soon as well. And yeah, I just had to share this with you guys, So hope you guys enjoyed. I know I did, especially making this video. So leave a comment if you want more information on how to actually access Genspark. I've actually linked it in the description below. It's very easy to start using, and a lot of its competitors are much more expensive in my opinion. So yeah, you can just sign up for the monthly subscription to get started. It's pretty easy. It's self-explanatory, but yeah. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.